You're.
Yes. What happened? What
Know.
happened?
But I feel like if we did this, it would be like we were cuddling.
Amanda.
No, I'm like, hey, get back over there. Come on. You crowd my space. Dr. Tiff.
Oh, gosh.
How are you, Dr. Tiffany?
I am just awesome, Jim. How are you?
You know what? I'm amazing. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. It's been a whole week since I talked to you last.
Right?
Did you miss me?
Of course. Always I do. No, I meant that. That sounded
I bet you did. I bet you did. Hi there, folks. Welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic, and I love saying that I used to be a type 2 diabetic because I used to be one. People don't hear that enough. But I feel like the tide is changing. I think people are saying that more and more and more now. I used to be type 2 diabetic. I used to be. You know, just 5 years ago, Dr. Tiff, nobody was saying that. And I feel like more and more and more people today are saying that. And that's cool.
Yes.
You know what? Here's a throwback to our youth. That is rad.
Rad? Who says that?
I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I had an A1C that was 12.2%. I am 5'11", 260. I was 265 pounds. And while I felt like I looked smoking hot in that body, my doctor said I was clinically obese. And so I'm not that anymore either, I guess. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have high cholesterol. Goodness, what else, Dr. Tiff? I don't have IBS. I don't have acid reflux. I don't have migraine headaches. You know, I don't talk enough about the migraine headaches part, Dr. Tiff.
Yes, that's good.
When I was a kid, I would get these migraine headaches, and I'm being like 9 years old kid, right? And I lived in an apartment. It was a ground level apartment, and I can remember going into the ground level where the window was just at the ground level. And I looked out and I could see my friends playing football, and I wanted to go out and play football with them, but I couldn't deal with the headache at 9 years old. And I would ultimately just kind of shut the drapes, and I would go to bed in a dark room and just kind of bury my head in a pillow because I couldn't take the pain. At 9 years old. And I would go to an allergist doctor, and the allergist doctor, you know, he went through, they would poke me and prod me a lot, you know, to see what allergies I had. That was back when they were giving me shots, and then they would and they decided I was allergic to chocolate, and that was the trigger for the migraine headaches. So as a 9-year-old kid, I gave up chocolate, which is just devastating to a kid, right? And you go to a birthday party, and every other kid's like, "Oh, this is delicious chocolate." I'm like, "I'll take it." I hate it. Never did they look at the sugar in the chocolate, right?
Right.
Like the freaking cocoa leaf is the problem, not the pound of sugar that they add to it.
Right.
So I had these migraine headaches, and I literally was plagued with these migraine headaches for literally my entire life, and they were bad. And I learned how to somewhat control them, I thought, right? I would get a half dozen a year towards, my 40s. So it wasn't as bad as it once was, but still, I mean, they were debilitating. I couldn't work. If I went to work, I would have to go home. I couldn't. Anybody who's ever had a true migraine would understand. Like,
oh yeah,
just want to go to sleep because the thought that, if I go to sleep and wake up again, when I wake up, it might be there, but it'll be less. That's all I care about. And so that, Dr. Tiffany, I don't tell that story enough. I don't have migraine headaches anymore. Those are gone. That is a huge deal. And it's funny because I have a customer of mine, her name is Tiff, and Tiff had the same thing, plagued with migraine headaches. And we were talking, I told her that story, and she was like, "You think it would help with that?" She told me today, 3 weeks straight now, no headaches.
Awesome.
So anyway, enough about that. But I'm living my best life. I feel as good as I've ever felt. As good as I've ever felt. And that is me. And along the way, I started talking about these products, and I was introduced to these products. And through that person that introduced me to the products, I met Dr. Tiff. Doc, why don't you tell us about you?
Yes. Well, hello. Good evening, everyone. I am a double board certified physician.
Looks like she's a double certified. Where'd you go? You know, this makes me think that I should have had her do her introduction first. If I would have thought to have her, and this is what it is, chivalry is gone, right? I should have had her do her introduction first. If I would have done that, then it would be me that was frozen right now, and that's the way that it should be. Well, while we're waiting for her system to reboot, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. For those of you who are being invited into this live stream, this is actually going to be a great live stream. I'm really excited. We've got a couple of amazing guests tonight. And the way that this live stream goes is I'm just some random dude, but I've been able to help quite a few people get healthy again. And along the way, I met Dr. Tiff, who is well, I'm going to let her do her introduction here in just a moment. We both kind of came together and we started doing this live stream. And the idea is to educate people on why they got sick and ways to get unsick, ways to reverse that problem that you have, whether it's migraine headaches or type 2 diabetes or whatever. There are a lot of people who are reversing type 2 diabetes, as I said earlier. So if you've been invited to this live stream, that means that somebody thought that the information that Tiff and I are going to share in this would be a benefit to you. Another thing is if you're one of these people, and I say there are a lot of people, if you're one of the people who has had just an absolutely amazing journey along the way, if you're one of these people that's just doing nothing but winning, and you want to share this is an absolutely incredible opportunity to put your people in front of us and allow Dr. Tiffany and I to explain how this system works. And they have the opportunity to sign up. And of course, if they sign up, they would use your referral link and you would get a discount on your next purchase. Every time one of your referrals makes a purchase, you get $10 in product credit. I don't know if you know that or not, but you can really drastically lower your price while helping somebody else win. And that's the coolest thing in the world. When you start helping somebody else win, when you start to see other people come in and say, hey, man, thank you. This is cool. Okay, so I'm not sure where Dr. Tiff is. I'm going to adapt and overcome. I think we're going to move in here to our first guest. And I'm hoping that Dr. Tiff is able to rejoin us. But the show must go on. Maybe she got mad at me. Do you think she got mad at me? I'm going to go ahead and bring in Lucy here. Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
And Denise. The reason I chose Lucy is because Dr. Tiffany brought Denise here, and I think it would be important for Dr. Tiffany to introduce Denise. So, Lucy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I'm blessed.
Me too.
I'm absolutely blessed. Okay, Lucy, I have a question for you. I mean, obviously, I know the story. I love hearing your story. But, you know, I like to ask the question, how did we meet? Where was your health at when we met? And where was your health at today? Where is it at today? But of course, you didn't find me. You found somebody else. So let's jump in with that question. How did you get here?
Well, I randomly went on to TikTok and I found the beautiful Ro, and she was talking about having the same issues as me. So I decided to listen to her, and that's how you and I met. And when you and I met, my health was atrocious, and now it has been completely transformed. 90 days, I fixed my health, and it's been a little over a year since then, and I am healthier now than I've been in a very long time.
So what sort of things you say that you fixed? Welcome back, Dr. Tiff.
Hello.
You know what that's called, Dr. Tiff?
What?
Alabama.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, dang it. Here's what I'm doing. I want to do this. I'm just going to be messing around with the windows. I like the way that looks a little better.
Okay.
Yeah. So where were you at health-wise when this started? When this whole journey started, what was your health like? Give me a little bit of background there.
So when I started this journey, I had just turned 60 years old. I'd never had any health issues before. I mean, I'd never been diagnosed with anything. I wasn't on any medicines. And I went to the doctor and she told me I had type 2, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I could not believe it. And she wanted to put me on a bunch of medicines. I didn't want to do that. I gave this a try instead, and it worked.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And today you are
I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure anymore. I don't have high cholesterol anymore. And bonus, I dropped 54 pounds.
54.
54.
I did not know that part. I was thinking 45. I guess I got a little dyslexic there.
Right.
54 pounds.
54.
Okay. Dr. Tiff,
Yes.
I'm going to let you get at her. I know you missed part of it. Dr. Tiff is like, you know what? I'm going to do the live today, but I'm not going to do the live today. I'm in. I'm out. I'm just teasing.
Apparently, that's what the technology decided. So
A little bit of Alabama. That's
I guess so.
Yeah.
But you know what? Losing 54 pounds is awesome. But the reality is some people just lose inches. But I love that you lost your 54 pounds. I bet that felt good on your joints.
It really did. And when I think now, if I think to myself, you know, what if I strapped like 54-pound weights on me? I bet you would really notice that difference.
Right.
So it did make a huge difference for me.
Yes. Love that.
I love that. I love the story. Okay, Lucy. So here's the deal. And I know you know that, but I'm going to say this kind of to you, but I'm saying it to the rest of the audience too. What I want to do is shut your camera off, but I want to have you kind of hang out backstage. And I'd like to bring you back out at the end if anybody has any sort of questions with you. But we've got a pretty amazing weight loss story, cholesterol, blood pressure, and reversal of type 2 diabetes all in one person.
Wow.
Right.
How do you feel today?
I feel fantastic. I say now I have more energy today than I did 30 years ago. It's amazing.
I love that. Okay, so if you can kind of just hang out backstage for us.
All righty, we'll do.
I'm going to do this a little bit out of order today. I'm going to have our guest come in, and then I'm going to I'm going to have her introduce herself. Let's try this again, Dr. Tiff. See, what you missed was I felt guilty. After you decided to leave, I thought, you know what I should have done is I should have had her introduce herself first, but I didn't. I was chivalry is dead. You should have gone first. But now next one.
Who would have known? Who would have known my computer would completely just pulled me out? Who would have known? You know,
Hey, you know what? It's okay. I remember the first time I used an internet. So
how rude. I'm California born, thank you very much. Don't think because I've been in Alabama for 5 minutes that I am not a real city slicker. Anyway. Yes, I love all this time because I need this time. I am Dr. Tiffany Marie. I am double board certified in family and lifestyle medicine. And I was doing this for 20 years. What traditional doctors do, write prescriptions and then prescriptions for the side effects and then for the drug interactions. And I didn't want to keep doing that. That's not what I signed up for. So I ended up looking into family medicine. Actually lifestyle medicine. That's about going after the root cause of conditions. And that's when I learned about all these other things that are here to help us, like the herbs, the fiber, our lifestyle. And I started actually, sometimes you just laugh, right? I started actually just talking about this stuff on social media. And that's how I got connected with our joint friend who told me to these products. And I started using them. And I got off of my blood pressure medicine. You talked about migraines. I had my first migraine when I was at my medical practice. And it was after hours. I was doing charts. I was doing all this extra work, stuff we don't get paid for. And I was straight in migraine land. And I had to give my own self a shot. As miserable as I felt. And I said, man, that was the first time I realized people have real issues with this. This is miserable. This is painful. You can't even describe it. I was down. And so that one experience taught me not to judge you migraine people. And I've learned. But I haven't had a migraine since with these products.
You know what? I never had the shot. I'm learning something. What shot do we speak of?
So when I would have patients come
what shot is there? Why didn't I ever know about that? For 40 freaking years, I didn't know about a shot.
Multiple shots. But it's Toradol. It's an anti-inflammatory we often give because that's a pain shot you can give that's not narcotic. Okay. I would give a narcotic and definitely wouldn't say that on live. But the point is, I did not. It was anti-inflammatory. But that's what we traditionally did. And yeah, So miserable times, and I haven't had them. So I'm excited. No hot flashes, off my blood pressure medicine, help my brother be able to get off his insulin, his Trulicity, his metformin. Who wouldn't want to keep talking about these things? So here I am.
You know what? I want to add something, and I don't give her enough love, and I need to give her more love. Is the person that you just mentioned, that our mutual friend,
Yes.
that introduced you and introduced me to it. Her name is Anne-Marie Wetton, and I don't say enough about her. Here's the deal, guys: is Anne-Marie Wetton introduced me to these products, and I believe that moment saved my life. Have you ever look back, Dr. Tiffany, on a single moment? There are a few things in my life, like little flashes of that right there. That exact spot in time altered the direction of my life. Okay. That moment. And I literally remember the telephone call. I remember the telephone call.
Wow.
I could probably almost recite the telephone call. I can remember where I was at. I remember where I was standing. I remember. And it literally, that moment right there altered the course of my life. And I guess I don't say to her enough, and I don't know if she's watching this or not, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you to everybody in this community, yourself included, Dr. Tiff. I don't say thank you to you enough. I don't say thank you enough to Trent and Yvette and Rav and Darren and the Grandisons and everybody. This is an amazing community. This is an amazing community of like-minded people who just want to see somebody else get a little bit better. And there, my mushy point's over. Done. I won't do anything. But it really is the honest to God truth, and I don't give enough love to Amy for that. So anyway, enough about that. Dr. Tiff. Let's see. I already told people we're out of order here, Dr. Tiff.
Yeah, we're totally out of order. And yeah, I think it'd be great to bring in this next guest while I switch over and try to queue up some things. So yes, I would love, and I love this lady. I've gotten time to connect with her multiple times on Facebook Messenger, and I can't wait to see her in person in a few weeks, just a few weeks. But yes. But again, somebody who's caught the vision, and we got connected, in extension through Beverly and Johnny, but Carolyn Bird, wonderful story with her breast cancer history. So, yep, I can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us, Miss Denise.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Denise Sykes. I am a retired nurse. I've been a nurse 50 years, but I'm still working. And this new product that we're taking is giving me some more nursing to do. Anyway, I'm 74 years old. Don't feel like it, whatever it's supposed to feel like. I've been on the product since May. I had trouble. I was tired all the time, restless nights, sleepless nights, no energy. And the biggest thing, and this is a big one, was constipation. I'm 74. I've probably been constipated 73. Oh, that's not too much information. But my gut is healed now. And sometimes I even go twice a day. I can't help but brag about it. If you never had that problem, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel so much better now. I have energy. I sleep good at night. I've lost inches. Looking for the weight to come off, but it's coming. I've had to buy new clothes. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And getting rid of some skin tags all around my neck. They're disappearing. I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. When I started this, it was my A1C was 5.8, and within a month it had dropped down to 5.7. So I know I'm going in the right direction. And it's been about 6 months now. So I'm just passionate about people healing and getting healed. And I'm so happy that I'm on my way. I'm 74 now. I put in a request to be 102. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I can't help it. Where does 102 come from? Why not 103?
Oh, I don't know. It's just something that came in my head one day. So I stuck with it. And it may be more than that by the time I'm on this product. Who knows?
Okay.
Yes. Well, I want to show
All
her
the stories that I
picture.
just heard, I was like, wow. One thing after that. 102. Why 102? I got stuck on 102. I like it. I like
Uh,
101.
oh,
And even though she talks about not having any pounds lost, don't we see a difference?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh yeah.
but my friends have made fun of my clothes, so I guess
You know,
it's been.
I heard a great quote. Somebody, and it might have been, was it one of our guests, Tiff, that said something about going shopping in their own closet?
Mhm,
Yeah.
I do
Pretty
that
cool,
too.
right? You're gonna go shopping in your own closet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta fit back into that thing again.
Mhm.
Actually, I just went through my closet, getting rid of the stuff that I don't need anymore. I
Yeah.
don't need the
Yeah.
triple X shirt anymore. Get it out of there.
Wow.
Out.
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 Okay, Miss Denise. So what I want to do is, boy, Dr. Tiff, we are way out of whack. You know what? You were supposed to do your presentation, but okay.
Yeah, we switch things
We're just,
around so I can be ready.
yeah, we are just all over the place. It's like anarchy here.
Hmm.
Sometimes you gotta switch things up. You gotta be metabolically flexible.
Right.
So Denise, I would say that normally what I would do is I'm gonna ask you if you'll kind of hang out backstage and come back at the end for some questions. But I don't really know what Dr. Tiffany is doing to this world right now. She's causing anarchy and I'm just teasing. But will you hang out for us
No.
all back? And let me bring you back out for some questions at the end of the live stream, Denise.
Yes, that'll be fine.
You're amazing. You're amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. I love your story.
Thank you.
Well,
I love it.
that was amazing.
Yes, it is. I mean, it goes to show that change can happen at any age. You just got to be willing to make it. And yes, you are right. I come to break up some stuff anytime I am in this space. So that's what I'm doing right now.
I'm a creature of habit, Dr. Tiffany. I am an absolute creature of habit. I get into a rhythm, and it was like, well, I don't know what to do next. I don't know. Yeah, I'm good. I think I'm back on. I think I've got the rest of the night figured out. Keeping me on my toes, okay. Dr. Tiffany.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. We got to be flexible. And so there's a good time to tell people to tag in some people because we're about to talk about the science.
Yes. That and before you do that, you mentioned that you were going to see her in a couple 3 weeks. And I think this is an excellent time to put a plug in there. So why don't you run with that? Tell them what you're talking about.
Oh, I am talking about this awesome convention we're going to have. And you got to fill in some of the names of these leaders because I get stuck on my favorite, Dr. Ben Bickman. I'm such a super fan for real, for real. One time he liked one of my videos and I was like, Dr. Bickman liked one of my videos. But anyway, okay. I don't fangirl over people, but when you really talk about stuff that I love to hear and learn, I'm a fan. But anyhow, Dr. Ben Bickman's going to be there, one of the leading authorities in insulin resistance. We're going to have Dr. Jason Fung with his diabetes code, obesity code, and he just came out with another book, if I'm not mistaken. I got to get that one so he can sign that one too. And then we have all these other ones. The fittest doc, somebody I ran across on social media, and I was like, we have got to have him at the convention. I love this. He's a medical doctor who actually believes in lifestyle and exercise. So very excited. And then we have all these other leaders talking.
Dr. Nina Teicholz. She's got a PhD in nutrition. We got Dr. Tina Moore, who is a really curious one, right? Because Dr. Tina Moore actually advocates for GLP-1s, but in microdoses. She's talking about what we've done to human biology. It's fascinating, Dr. Tiff. When you start thinking about the idea that the changes that we're making today, not a big deal, but when we pass them on to the next generation and they pass them on to the next generation, what does that do? And over time, we become chronically low in GLP-1. And Dr. Tina Moore really is kind of going down that place. I mentioned Dr. Nina Teicholz. Dr. Nina Teicholz wrote a book called The Big Fat Surprise, where she really goes into the demonization of saturated fats, and really starts to peel apart the Ansel Keys thing. And, says that we've been largely compliant with the food pyramid, that we as a society. And of course, the powers that would say that we could have done better and we should have done better. However, as a society, we generally try and adhere to the food pyramid. We generally try and choose lower fat, no fat type alternatives. We generally try and get in as many grains. We eat a lot of grains, a lot of carbohydrates. We definitely do that. We do that very well. And yet, heart disease, still number one. Type 2 diabetes on the rise. All of these things. And so Dr. Nina Teicholz wrote a book called The Big Fat Surprise. Excellent book. Anyway, tons of great doctors going to be here. Dr. Jamie Seaman. This is going to be an incredible. So the plug here really is anybody is welcome. And there are still, I believe, last I heard, Dr. Tiffany, there were still a couple hundred tickets left.
Oh, yes.
And
I even have a couple myself.
Filling out a stadium. So if you are interested in listening to some of the finest of the finest, the people at the top of the Richter scale as far as the doctors and the people in this arena, if you want to listen to them talk about things, the people that Dr. Tiff idolizes, the people that I idolize, if you want to listen to them speak, there's still a couple hundred tickets left. And just get with Dr. Tiff or myself. We've got a special discount code on those tickets at $99.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. So there's the plug for that. It's November 8th. In addition to that, if you want to see Dr. Tiff and I, we'll be both there. We'll both be hanging out together. I think, Dr. Tiff, we've even got some sort of a photo shoot, right? Something like that.
Oh, is that it?
Cameras, limousines. No?
No.
Oh. Wow. I can dream. Someday.
Right.
They give me my propers, I'm going to get it. So,
But
All right,
I can't wait. Yes.
Why don't you tell us what the problem is?
Yes. Well, one, I can't wait to meet any of you that want to come, because when I tell you it's an event you don't want to miss, you literally don't want to miss this. If you care anything about your metabolic health, because that's what we're talking about. That's the problem, right?
I want to add to that real quick. If you do go to that, please find us. I want to shake your hand.
Oh, yes.
Reshare that, Dr. Tiff. Reshare that. It took away the. Oh, no, I got it right here. I can get it right here. Hang tight. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah. If you do decide to go, please find me. I would love to shake your hand. I would love to have a conversation with you. So I'll let you go, Dr. Tiff.
Oh, yeah. And take pics.
Yes.
Okay, so when we're dealing with metabolic health, we're talking about all these conditions that Jim rattled off, right? But this study with the Tufts University study was saying only 7% of Americans are actually healthy, cardiometabolically healthy. And the drugs we usually prescribe, we as physicians tend to be, or we as providers, that would be your statins. They only help cardiovascular risk by 1%, 1 out of 100 people. But if you do lifestyle changes, do you know that it actually decreases your risk by up to 39%? That's crazy. And this is what Jim was talking about. Heart disease is still the number one killer. Even though we've been paying attention to all the stuff we were told to do, eat the low fat foods, eat the fake fat foods and all the fake carb foods, because that's what happened is those low fat, fat-free things had so many carbohydrates in it, they just made us with more insulin resistance. So now we're struggling with all these other conditions: heart disease, fatty liver, PCOS, migraines, diabetes. And so when we're talking about insulin, insulin is a hormone released by your pancreas that your cells need to get glucose into them. So without insulin, glucose can't go into the liver and muscle and fat cells and be used for energy. You need the insulin. And so when you do eat those high carbohydrate meals, it gives you a glucose spike. Your pancreas releases a nice bolus of insulin. And because things always seem to just kind of work out a little hooky sometimes, you can have a little bit more insulin. By the time that insulin gets to the bloodstream, it's not as much glucose. So now you got an awful drop, right? You got an awful drop in your sugar. And that's where you get the crash, the hangry, the mood swings, the cravings, the constantly hungry, the inability to lose weight, all these symptoms here. Skin tags, that's when you have too much insulin in your bloodstream. And now it's starting to act like a growth. Insulin-like growth hormone is that growth factor. It's actually causing those flaps to grow in the dark patches on the skin. High blood pressure, high cholesterol. And it's behind this, like we were talking about. Eating too many carbohydrates, eating too frequently. It doesn't give your insulin time to come down. So most of the time you'll have all those symptoms and you'll go to the doctor thinking, I know something's wrong with me. My auntie had all these symptoms and she had type 2 diabetes. My uncle, he had amputation. So I want to get to the doctor before this happens. And you go to the doctor and you get your A1C checked because that's what your providers are looking at. They're looking at your A1C and your sugar when you come in there with these symptoms, because it screams diabetes, because that's end stage insulin resistance. But what about all the other stuff on that picture, right? Unfortunately, if your sugar's not high, you're going to end up with a normal A1C, but you'll still have all these other symptoms. You can still have all these other symptoms and not have sugar in your bloodstream, because insulin resistance happens 10 to 15 years before sometimes that sugar starts. That sugar problem, pre-diabetes or diabetes, is end result insulin resistance. Everything on this slide here can happen before. Okay, so you end up being frustrated thinking, no one's listening to me, no one's hearing me, and I know something's wrong. Well, when that insulin is high in your bloodstream, it raises your blood pressure. It's not just the sodium here. In fact, at this day and age, so many of us pull out our sodium that now we're finding that we're having low sodium issues, to where we have to add sodium to our lifestyle. So when your sugar is high, or when you have insulin resistance, your insulin is high, what this does is it makes your kidneys hold on to sodium. And so water follows sodium, that increases blood volume. So that's going to increase the blood pressure. Then you have the whole inflammation of the inside lining of those blood vessels. That's going to make that bumpy and not smooth. You have to increase the blood pressure to get past that bumpiness, right? Then nitric oxide gets impaired. It doesn't work as well. So now those blood vessels don't dilate like they should. And so if you have stiff blood vessels with increased blood volume, yeah, the blood pressure is going to be higher. Then when it actually is bothering the liver, that high insulin, it increases your triglycerides, which is why that's a good marker. So if your triglycerides are elevated and your doctor's like, I don't know why it's elevated, you have all those other symptoms, you're dealing with insulin resistance, because that insulin is making that triglycerides, making the liver make more triglycerides. It also makes the liver make more of the LDL, the small dense particles. Those are the particles that are problematic. Those are the ones that get in between the blood vessel lining and close it up to where you get things like heart attacks and strokes. So when we check your labs and look at your lipid panel, that LDL is a calculated number. And in that number is not just the small dense particles, but the buoyant kind of beach ball-like particles. Well, those beach ball particles bounce off the lining of the blood vessel walls. They don't cause any problems. And unfortunately, that's the cholesterol that those statins actually address. They address those beach ball cholesterol. Well, that's not hurting us. They don't deal with the small dense particles in the blood vessel lining that is giving us those other issues, the heart disease and strokes, things that kill us. Now, insulin, when it's high, it actually can help develop ovarian cysts, promote weight gain, cause problems with hair, meaning we have hair where we're not supposed to have hair, because our testosterone is increased when this happens in a woman, and hair loss. But it also disrupts the menstrual cycles, making it hard to get pregnant. So it's the leading cause of infertility for women. And when it affects, so let me say it this way, chronic inflammation goes hand in hand with insulin resistance. And when this happens, this messes our gut up entirely. So you can have gut dysbiosis. There are trillions of bacteria in our gut. That's the microbiome, gut microbiome. And when things aren't supposed to be there, like yeast or bad bacteria, that is called gut dysbiosis. That happens with the food we eat. We eat a lot of processed foods, or we're missing out on some of the fiber to treat our gut. Okay, so you have that problem happening. And so that bad bacteria, what it can do is it can start to eat up that lining. It can cause to make that lining permeable, leaky, and things leak out that aren't supposed to be leaking out. So the food we eat, your whole bacteria in your gut is trying to remove the toxins, the bacteria that aren't supposed to be there, and you're making stool, and that stool is trying to get released, when you go to the restroom, right? Well, if you have stuff leaking out, you have some of that leaking out, you have some of the bacteria leaking out, you got some of the viruses leaking out, you got some of the toxins leaking out in your gut. So that bloating, that abdominal pain, those leaky gut symptoms are problematic. But because the chronic inflammation is confusing your T cell function, and its job, it's part of your immune system, is to tell your body what not to attack, you start to attack not just all that gunk leaking out, because good, you need to attack that, but yourself. And so when you're attacking like your thyroid, that's Hashimoto's, that's autoimmune condition of your thyroid, attacking the gut, those things like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, attacking your joints, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, brain, multiple sclerosis. So many conditions are linked to our gut, because that leakiness actually confuses our immune system, and now we're attacking ourselves. So how can this be reversed? Like Jim says, he fully reversed his type 2 diabetes. Well, the problem, one of the biggest problems, or I mean, this might be, is this the biggest problem? It's so huge. It's hard to even say it's not the biggest problem. It's those daggone processed foods. I like to call it big food because it's just not real food. It's just not. It's not. All the important stuff is being taken away. They're addictive. You have people that are literally addicted to sugar, and sugar kicks up your dopamine. So that's why you feel addicted. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that feels good. It's our motivation chemical. It's what allows people to still do illicit substances or still do behaviors they know aren't good for them. But protein doesn't do this. Fat doesn't do this. Sugar does. And now you think this stuff is calling you. It's why you can't say no when you sit down to the table and you got your head in the bread basket or the chips. Yeah, not for you. That's because those processed carbs have been stripped of their fiber. I mean, we have wild rice here. Who's eating wild rice anymore? Nobody's eating that. We're eating this white fluffy rice. Okay, all the stuff that made that hard to consume large quantities, you know, the hard outside part of this, the bran, the endosperm, all those things, that's been removed. Now you got the nice fluffy part, the fun part. Well, that fun part is what gets us into trouble. We need the fiber because it blocks inflammation. And the fiber comes in all these different colors, the polyphenols, the antioxidants that we get from those things. It helps us significantly, but also decreases insulin resistance, okay? And helps us to fight off the inflammation. And then you couple this with doing intermittent fasting, and that's literally just taking a break from eating. So you give your body a time to detox itself. Autophagy was something found by a Nobel laureate, and he found that after 17 hours to 72 hours, you get into a stage to where your cells detoxify themselves. They get rid of viruses, pathogens, bacteria, toxins. You can get things like gut regeneration. You get things like neuron regeneration, which is huge because we say that's not supposed to happen, but it does. You can improve immune function to where you get improvement in white blood cells after 72 hours. And there's studies for this. So we talk about GLP-1, we actually make this hormone. So how can this help? Well, we were supposed to already have this hormone, but because of our lifestyle, we have not responded to it well. And what it does is it delays gastric emptying and allows your satiety centers to know that you're full, so you stop overeating. Well, Big Pharma figured this out with, you know, their studies and decided they wanted to capitalize on this. And they made a product that binds to a receptor to pretend like it's your GLP-1 hormone. It's not your GLP-1, it's a receptor agonist, okay? And so when you make something outside the body, it tends to never work like we are the stuff that we already have in our body. And so what happens is when you get these injections, it affects us in the long run. Your 40% of that weight loss is muscle and bone loss. And that's huge because if you're over 20, everybody over 20, it's hard for us to get that bone and muscle back. I mean, we need that, right? And then you have other issues, thyroid cancer, pancreatitis, gastroparesis. That's when your stomach gets paralyzed, would be an easy way to say that. So food gets stuck in there much longer than it's supposed to. That's why you have people that have those Ozempic burps, because that food's been putrefying in their stomach. It's now they got this stanky burp that comes out. And I don't mean to laugh at that, but that's the point. You get those Ozempic burps because that food isn't moving through the gut like it should. Then you have gut perforations. And we already talked about how leaky gut is a problem, because it is. Now your body doesn't know what to attack, and let alone a big hole in your gut. And then after 2 years of being on those injections, what they find is that the way that it stops the cravings, and we talked about how people have sugar addictions, that stops working as well. And so now people need higher dosages or they need another medication. So why not try to do this naturally? That's the bottom line. If you are sitting there with all these symptoms, or you're feeling like you're tired of being on these meds, what is stopping you from looking at a natural option when we have one that actually boosts your GLP-1 concentration 60 to 70%? And then the ferulic acid that's part of the yerba mate drink we drink, that actually gets broken down into a product that stops the breakdown of GLP-1. So we have it in our system even longer. And then the balance part of this, we talked about the microbiome where you have trillions of bacteria there. We need to treat that well because it takes care of us. So we want to feed that with the right nutrients. So having a 7-strand fiber blend, a matrix with all these other ingredients, beta carotene, chromium. It even has phytosterols in it, which means they're plant sterols. They bind our receptors in our body and confuses our body thinking we've bound cholesterol. So then that even decreases the amount of cholesterol that gets into our bloodstream because we excrete out the real cholesterol. So it helps decrease the cholesterol, the sugar, and it helps with our gut, helps those those leaky areas start to heal again because it gives the bacteria there the right food. So now we don't have bad bacteria taking over. And so because of that, I am determined to tell everybody as much as I can. Thousands of lives have been changed. 1 million people have already started using these products, which is great. And I get to get great texts like this. I get to get pictures from people. And I get to tell everywhere I go, every platform, that you really are not bound by your genetics. You are not. Somebody said, I thought it was in my dinner DNA. I do this every time, but it was in my dinner because it is. We really have control to take back our health. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you from taking back? Nothing's stopping me. That's why I'm on this live despite any technical difficulties. That's why I do this on a Wednesday, is because I have become a superhero in my own right. And I am here to empower anybody who is interested in taking back control of their health. You can follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and see me next week.
You're amazing. So I was looking for something, Dr. Tiff. Can you hear me okay? There we go.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. Well, I was hoping I would get it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'll present that while you were doing your presentation. I was trying to get access to something. Statista. Statista is a website, and Statista, if you want to know information about like market research and that sort of thing, they have it. Did you know, Dr. Tiff, and I like to point this out, I haven't done it in a little while, but the global pharmaceutical revenue for 2023, according to Statista, was $1.607 trillion.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time with, like, what does that mean? I think in the United States, we are so overwhelmed with the word trillion that, like, you know, it's like, I don't know, we take it for, like, I don't even know what that is.
It's like, oh, trillion, no biggie. No, that's a lot.
Debt's 30 trillion. I don't even know. Like, they're like, oh, it's another $1 trillion. Like I feel like that should mean something, right?
Yes.
But we're desensitized to it. So I started like kind of going down this rabbit hole of what does $1 trillion, what does $1.607 trillion mean? So $1.607 billion. You know, Dr. Tiff, if you earned $1 per second, every second of the day, you would earn $86,400 per day. That'd be a pretty good day.
Yeah, not a bad day.
Not a bad day at all. Do you know that it would, if you did that, for you to start, if you started saving every one of those pennies, if you didn't spend any of them, which you wouldn't really have to, I mean, it's a lot of money, but if you started saving every penny, it would take you just a little over 50,000 years to get to 1.607 story. And then I also did think about it, you know, another way I like to describe that is, did you know, okay, so if Dr. Tiff, if I gave you $2 million right now, would that change your life?
Yeah.
Of course, right? Of course. If I did it for 7 days in a row, that'd be 14 million. You'd be like, well, thanks, Jim.
Yes.
For a month, it'd be 60 million. For a year, it'd be 730 million. For 2 years, $1.4 billion. 1.4 billion. So long as you don't goof it up, like you've created generational wealth. Like, right? Am I right? 4 years, 2.8 billion. Like, gosh, so long as somebody doesn't really do something stupid. And I don't even know what that would be. Like, how do you do something so stupid? You're set for life. $2 million per day. If you started accumulating $2 million per day and you started it when Jesus Christ was born, you still wouldn't be to 1.607 trillion. That's crazy to think about, isn't it? And that was their revenue in 2023. That was the revenue in 2000. And you're going to fact check me later on. I encourage you to. And they beat it 1.7 trillion in 2024. And you know they're going to beat that. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And I like to ask the question. Do you think the pharmaceutical industry is looking for customers or cures? And I asked our audience that right now. I don't need to answer the question. I'm just going to ask the question to the audience. Guys, give us your answer. Do you think the pharmaceutical industry is looking for customers or cures? And anyway, so with that being said, we'll let the answers come in here. My beautiful bride said, what are the mental health impacts of insulin resistance?
Yeah, that's good because I didn't talk about that. She's 100% right. So 90% of your serotonin is created in the gut, and your gut definitely talks to your brain through the gut brain axis. So that is so huge to healing our gut that we do see people improve things like anxiety and depression. I actually was somebody who dealt with seasonal depression, and I would take a medication. I needed to take it. That is not something I've been actually having to deal with. We have the theobromine in it that helps with the mood. And with improving the insulin resistance, then the inflammation comes down. Now our gut is even doing better with using these products.
You know, Dr. Tiffany, there is this psychologist. Her name is Dr. Cynthia Calkin, and she's out of the Pacific Northwest, and she's a psychologist, and she started working with that, and specifically treatment-resistant bipolar disorder. And what she found was that treatment-resistant bipolar disorder patients had blood-brain barrier dysfunction. And so blood-brain barrier, this is it's an added layer in the blood vessels in your brain that's there to impede the flow of toxins into the brain cavity. The brain cavity needs to be clean. And so you don't want heavy metals and that sort of thing in the, and so the blood vessels have this added barrier called the blood-brain barrier. And what Dr. Cynthia Calkin thought was that the treatment-resistant bipolar disorder could have something to do with blood-brain barrier dysfunction. And so she did tests, and sure enough, every time there was blood-brain barrier leakage, blood-brain barrier dysfunction. And then she thought, hey, maybe the blood-brain barrier dysfunction was tied to insulin resistance. And so she ran HOMA tests, HOMA-IR tests, and again, in every case, they were insulin resistant. And so Dr. Cynthia Calkin, in an effort to test her hypothesis, she gave treatment-resistant bipolar disorder patients metformin, and in all cases saw improvement. And you know, the only reason I know that, Dr. Tiff, is because I did a video on that. And I posted that video, and I think there were about 600,000 views on it. And I ended up reposting it a second time, and it was hotter the second time at like 750,000 views. It's 1.3-ish million views that video is seeing. And you would think that my freaking wife would have seen it by now.
Or she just wanted you to say all this.
You know,
thank you, Amanda.
I get no respect.
Great question, Amanda. Love it.
Okay. Let me dive in here. I'm going to talk about these products real quick, and I'm going to blaze through them. So before I get going, I want to talk about BioSlife. BioSlife. What is, and if you don't mind, I'm going to do this to you just so that I can get BioSlife bigger screen. So this is BioSlife. It says Unicity, but when it was created, it was actually developed by Rexall Pharmacy. Rexall Pharmacy was a company that was founded in 1903. And they're still around. They're not quite what they once were, but in Canada, they're still pretty prominent. And maybe some of you guys remember the Rexall Pharmacy, the local pharmacy store in your neighborhood. Anyway, they developed BioSlife in the late 80s, 1989, and they put it out to market in 1990. Now, BioSlife is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers and a multivitamin. It's the and thing that we don't talk enough about. It's this type of fiber. It's guar gum. It's also oat fiber. It's also pectin. It's pectin fiber. It's also citrus fiber. It's all of the different types of fiber. This fiber, and it's the soluble fiber and the insoluble fiber. It's the fiber and the multivitamin. It's the vitamin B6 and the B7 and the B9 and the B12. It's the and. There's a lot of ands in this, okay? Now, this thing really kind of changed the world. In 2002, it was studied at the Cleveland Clinic. Let me just pull this up here. I'm going to go share my screen. I'm sorry, I should have had this ready. I'm just going to go to Google, and I'm going to ask Google, what is the top heart hospital in the United States? And it will say the Cleveland Clinic. And in fact, that is this article right here. What are the best hospitals for cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery? And Cleveland Clinic with a perfect score of 100 out of 100. Now, you'll notice that Balance, okay, Balance is a blend of fiber, guar gum, locust bean, citrus pectin, oat fiber, beta-glucan. Each one of those has a very specific purpose why it's in there. whether it's controlling cholesterol or glucose or what have you, but each one of those has a reason. And it's got the full multivitamin, vitamins A, C, E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, B6, B9, B12, calcium, zinc, chromium. It's the and, okay? Now, in the United States, I guess I should do this really quick. Let me push pause on that screen. You might, throughout this, hear me refer to Balance and BiosLife. See, BiosLife is available in like over 60 countries globally. This is BiosLife in Australia. This is BiosLife in South Korea. This is BiosLife in Saudi Arabia. And in the United States, we call it Balance. Okay, so when you hear me talking about BiosLife, really what I'm doing is I'm talking about Balance, BiosLife. They're interchangeable. So back to this. This is Balance. It's the blend of both fiber and the multivitamin. Now, this study right here, fiber and multivitamin combination therapy, you'll notice it was published in September of 2002 in Metabolism Journal. In fact, that is this publication right here. This is what they call a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. It was peer-reviewed. It was published. And you can see right here, it's been cited 20 times. Now, that means that somebody else read this and thought that, hey, I think I can use this research for my research. This is good stuff right here, okay? Really good stuff. Now, weird as it is, you can't read the full thing in Metabolism Journal, so you hit that download full issue right there, and that will take you to here. Or you could go to uniscience.org. I really encourage everybody to go there. But this right here is the full text of that. You'll notice it was done at the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic. This was published. It was submitted in November of 2001. And it was accepted in February of 2002. And then it was published in September of 2002. And the fiber test was BiosLife 2. Now, Dr. Tiff, so many people are worried about their bad cholesterol. When somebody says bad cholesterol, what kind of cholesterol are we talking about?
They're talking about the LDL.
LDL. So right here, the Cleveland Clinic, they looked specifically at the LDL response. Right here, this says it all. By the time of the interim visit, which was 4 weeks after randomization, the treatment group, the BiosLife group, demonstrated significantly lower LDL-C than the placebo group. That trend continued through the next 4 weeks to the end of the blinded phase. And if you're curious what significantly lower looks like, well, 147 versus 162. But if you want to see all the numbers, there they are right there. The Cleveland Clinic put all of the numbers out there for you to actually go and see. If you wanted to show your doctor this, go show your doctor this right here. They'll speak this language. They know exactly what this is. But we'll see reductions in total cholesterol, improvements in HDL, triglycerides. The stuff was simply amazing. In fact, the Cleveland Clinic went on to say such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Boom. The Cleveland Clinic, what does that say? BiosLife, if taken regularly, could reduce heart disease for everybody and potentially decrease the need and or dose for statin drugs. That's a powerful statement from the top heart hospital. Now, let's talk a little bit about the glycemic index. This is an article I found on Mayo Clinic, because we do trust the Mayo Clinic, right? The Mayo Clinic had a little write-up on the glycemic index, and this paragraph right here makes it so simple. The glycemic index ranks foods on a scale from 0 to 100. The low end of the scale has foods that have little effect on blood sugar levels. The high end of the scale has foods with a big effect on blood sugar levels. And then they go through and they break it down. What is low? Well, low is 1 to 55, medium is 56 to 69, and high is 70 or higher. So really what we don't want foods that are going to spike our glucose. We want to stick to foods that are low, not high. What do foods that are low and high look like? Foods that are low are things like green vegetables, most fruits, raw carrots, kidney beans, chickpeas, and lentils, things I think are probably absent from the standard American plate, right? High glycemic foods are things like white rice, white bread, and potatoes. Something I think we probably have on every single plate. Now, the reason I bring this up is if you go to glycemicindex.com, that is the University of Sydney, Australia. they are the home of the glycemic index. They're the ones that are in charge of not only the website, but the international database. You can go to that GI search tab over here on the left, and you can look up the glycemic index of just about anything. They're the ones that design the testing, and then they maintain the database. If you hit the About page, it will take you to here. And it talks about this lovely lady. Her name is Professor Jenny Brand Miller. She is an internationally recognized authority on the glycemic index and carbohydrates with over 250 scientific publications. She's an absolute powerhouse in this arena. Now, why do I bring her up? This study done by her in 2011 looks at the effects of a fiber-rich nutritional supplement, BioSlife. That is Dr. Jenny Brand Miller. That is the University of Sydney, Australia. That is Unicity International. And in this study, they found that BioSlife lowered the glycemic index of all three test foods, namely white bread, white rice, and mashed potato. In each case, it lowered the glycemic index from high to medium. It also lowered the insulin index. And as Dr. Tiffany just illustrated, that's really the thing that matters. Effectively reducing the insulin secretion after food ingestion. Big deal. Now, this study right here, done by Dr. Jenny Brand Miller and her staff, again, July of 2011. In this study, she observed a 20 to 28% reduction in blood glucose levels, and more importantly, a 13 to 27% reduction in blood insulin levels. That is BioSlife. That is also called Balance. Now, the second product that we have, and I'm trying to push the accelerator button here, or the accelerator here. The second product that we have is called Unimate. And Unimate is a patented yerba mate extract. And I say patented, there's a patent on this process. This isn't something that can be just replicated. There's a patent. I forgot to mention there's 4 patents on that one. But Unimate is a yerba mate extract. And if you're unfamiliar with yerba mate is a South American tea. It's been pretty widely consumed for the last 500 to 1,000 years. There is a region of South America that is really good for its thick red clay-like soil, the rich rainforest climate, that dense rainforest climate. These are areas of Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. Those areas, really the only place that yerba leaf grows. Now, that yerba leaf has been long consumed. 500 to 1,000 years they've been drinking this stuff. There is something inside of that yerba leaf. You heard Dr. Tiff talking about chlorogenic acid and theobromine, mate saponins, antioxidants. Those are all in that yerba leaf. What Unicity does, they acquired those farms. They purchased the farms in South America. And that's important. We're not trying to grow this here in North America. We're still growing it where it's indigenous. We're not trying to do some sort of GMO experiment. Now, to that point, we hire farmhands down there that are very skilled. There's a skilled eye to know when it's time to hand harvest the leaf. We don't use machines. We use hands, actual skilled labor. They take that, they still fire roast it in a very similar way to the way that it's always been done, but then they go through a patented extraction process, and they extract the good things like the chlorogenic acid, the theobromine, and then they concentrate them, and then they purify it. They get rid of the things that we don't want, specifically 26 different ingredients, things like heavy metals, pesticides, and that sort of thing. Now, what we end up with is a yerba mate extract that has about 20 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of yerba mate. This right here looks like 20 cups of normal yerba mate. You can get there by drinking yerba mate, but you're going to need a toilet. You're going to be peeing a lot. Now, Dr. Ben Bickman, who is Dr. Tiff's mentor, has now studied that particular tea. Let me see here. Dr. Bickman has studied that tea. This study right here, published in October of 2023, this was peer-reviewed, this was published, and it looks at a yerba mate supplement. Again, you will see Dr. Ben Bickman's name all over this, and if we scroll down, you will see the materials and methods specifically list Unicity International. That is Unicity's Unimate. Now, what this study found was that it basically made you a more efficient fat burner. Clinically proven, it makes you a better fat burner. Now, along with this study, Dr. Bickman observed some interesting things about GLP-1 production.
That I'll be sharing at a meeting in March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did, the GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in a fasted state, which is pretty considerable.
So that is pretty considerable. I like the way that he says that, right? He says that so nonchalant. That's pretty considerable. 70% increase in GLP-1 production, which is pretty considerable. So how does this work? The Feel Great system comes with 2 teas and 1 balance every day for a 30-day supply. That's a 30-day kit. You would do 2 of these every day, 1 of these every day. The way it works, you wake up in the morning, you drink a tea. When it's gone, you drink a second tea. You can drink it hot or cold. You can add more water. You can add less water. The trick is to sip on it. Now, I use my big Yeti tumbler here. Dr. Tiff uses her diamond bottle. I drink mine hot. Dr. Tiff drinks hers cold. It doesn't matter. You just do you. Just put it in your belly, slow. Sip on it. When that tea is gone, drink the second one. It is so simple. Do this while you're fasting. It's going to make your fast long. It's going to make you extend the fast. It'll get rid of that food noise. I don't know how many of you deal with the food noise, but it's ridiculous, okay? It gets rid of the food noise. It'll give you an amazing boost of energy. You'll feel mental clarity, boom, just like that. Behind the scenes, it is encouraging insulin sensitivity. Behind the scenes, it is increasing GLP-1 production. Behind the scenes, it's making you a better fat burner. All sorts of things, okay? Now, immediately before your heaviest meal of the day, that's the meal that has the most carbohydrates. That's your spaghetti, your pizza, your white bread, whatever it may be. That's when you're going to drink this. That same bottle that Dr. Tiff has, that's going to come into play. There's a little line on the back that says balance. Fill it up to that line with cold water, cold water, cold water. Shake it up. That's a mistake you'll make one time, right, Dr. Tiff? Cold water. Don't use hot water. Cold water, shake it up. Don't overshake it. Just get it just enough to mix and down the hatch. That is the entire system. Now, what Unicity promises is if you try these products consistently for 90 days, put them consistently in your body for 90 days, they guarantee you'll reduce your blood sugar, your A1C, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your body weight. They guarantee it. And if you don't, if you're not satisfied for any reason, ask them for a money back guarantee. They will give you all your money. They accept HSA, health savings account, FSA, flex spending account, credit cards. I've been trying to talk them into taking the firstborns, but they're very flexible, guys. The biggest thing is put this in your body, give it 90 days. If you want to order the system, get with the person who invited you to this live stream. They will tell you how to order the system, okay? And when you start having amazing experiences on them, put them in front of Dr. Tiff and I, and we'll tell your friends about it just the same. Okay, Dr. Tiff, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Let's get these 2 wonderful ladies back out here. Let's take a Q&A. If anybody has any questions at all.
We do not suggest.
Let's see. The balance is helping me with my site. I am taking both products together for the first time, and I am not eating as a regular faster. I am learning so much about my physical body. One of y'all has a TV on or something in the background?
We will have a 90s night.
Does somebody have?
And so
Somebody has that webinar on.
That's going to be the last night of the cruise.
Oh, is that what it is?
For
Okay.
the cruise.
We're going to be like,
Got it.
oh, we never
Here.
stove, right?
I'm going to do something here.
Just kidding. We might.
Oh, that's you, Lucy.
Yep.
That's Lucy. You got something in the background, Lucy. Can you mute that in the background real quick?
I should pack.
I do want to add something there.
Oh, she can't hear us.
You can't.
Ship, just know
Oh.
that
Ah.
Okay, I'm going to do this because it's definitely distracting, okay? Denise.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Denise, you got somebody in front of you, and they are they're skeptical, as everybody is. You got 30 seconds. What are you going to say to them?
I would say to them, if you've never invested in yourself, this is something that you don't want to miss out on, because I'm telling you, it's guaranteed 100% to make a change in your health. And like they used to say, when you have your health, you have everything. And I never understood that until I got older. You know, you may have money to go shopping, but if you don't feel like shopping, what good is the money? You know, that type. But you definitely can't go wrong. Just do it for yourself, do it for your loved ones, and to have a better quality of life, you know.
That right there, to have a better quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Denise, you are amazing. Thank you for coming on to the live stream.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Tiff. We made it through another week, Dr. Tiff.
We did, by the skin of my teeth.
You know what? You put up with me for another week in a row.
Yes.
I put up with you for another week in a row.
Yes.
I'll give you the last word, Dr. Tiff.
Well, you know what? I think it comes down to the fact that there's two people in this world. There's people that sit and listen to all these awesome information, hear testimonials, and they sit and they decide to do nothing and they sit on it. But I am hoping that there are people who are hearing this live and watching the replay, and this has been, they've been tagged in, they've been sent this. I'm hoping there's the other type of people that are hearing this. People that see this, it opens their eyes and they want to start right now to take back control of their health, to take back control of their quality of life. So I'm hoping that's who this is listening to this. And you're not just going to sit there and sit on this and don't do anything, because people are dying and I'm no longer just sitting doing nothing.
The most common regret that I hear is that I waited too long. I hear that all the time. Get on it, put it in your belly, get healthy, try hard, be consistent, and you'll see results.
Yep.
Dr. Tiff, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thanks everyone for
Hey,
your
guys.
patience tonight.